Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the August 7th Planning Board meeting. This time, we have minutes from the May 29th meeting. Unfortunately, we don't have enough people to vote on, so we'll table these. Can I get a motion?
I'm so moved.
Second.
That's been approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes will be read at the next meeting. Chairman's update. It's been a while since any of it's been here. Welcome back. Hope everyone's enjoying the summer. Some issues at hand. I guess we can wait for review with the engineer's report, Kevin, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Nancy, do we have any new subdivision submissions?
We have the Hamilton Street, one that I just passed out.
That's this one here, okay. Nothing from, no additional plans from 860, no meeting for trunk storage at,
Haven't heard.
nothing. Okay. I guess we'll go right into the engineer's report. Does anyone have any questions?
Mr. Chair, do you want me to make a motion to take the A&R out of order so we can do the engineer's report after? Because it's quite lengthy. We haven't heard from the engineer in a while, and I know he's got a lot to discuss, so we don't hold up Mr. Dwyer.
I take a motion on that?
I make a motion to take the A&R out of order.
I'll
I
second.
agree. All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. We'll take Mr. Dwyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. David Dwyer, Hardy and Dwyer Land Surveyors, 59 Appleton Street in Saugus. You have before you a Form A plan, which is the smallest lot that I've ever created in 45 years of doing this. It's a 61 square foot lot. It's to relieve an encroachment of a garage that was built with a bocce court inside of it. Mr. DiPiero went to, we found this back in June of '21. He brought it to the Board of Appeals for a variance, which was granted on January 25, 24, and recorded at the registry 4/8/24. The A&R plan is 4/9/25. He was granted a variance for a 1.9 setback, where 25 is required, and you should have a copy of that variance recorded in front of you. Purpose of the plan is to divide a portion of the land of Sullivan, 61 square feet, being shown as Lot 3A, and adding it to Lot 3, which frontages on Parsons Avenue. Both of these lots are far and exceed the square footage requirements and the frontage requirements. In the lower right-hand corner, you'll see a blow. I'm sorry. You'll see a blow-up of Lot 3A. It's 4.95 by 25.36, and then there's a small jog in there. So it's a triangular piece of 61 square feet. Are there any questions?
So as you have stated, they meet all the requirements of an A&R.
Yes, they do.
We have the frontage, we have the square foot of the lots, everything follows on that criteria. I've never seen anything like this granted in town before. But it is here in
1.9
front of us.
setback where 25 is required.
25 feet is required on this condition. This has been approved. They are the
Board of Appeals.
Board of Appeals that gives the variances, and it's been approved by the Board of Appeals. So I guess that, on that notion, we can move forward and take a vote.
I would make a motion to approve the A&R as they meet our requirements.
I'll second that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. There's always a first time, Dave.
Well, like I said, 45 years, right?
I just don't know what they were thinking, but it's out of our jurisdiction.
If I could get that signed,
Yeah, and
do you have a pen or I have one?
I didn't drink.
Not yet.
That's unbelievable.
Nancy, do you have a special pen? Oh, you have the special pen.
Yeah, it's a Sharpie. They don't accept it if it's not on a Sharpie.
Sorry.
Nancy, I'll get you copies.
I really,
If you could put the date on the bottom too, as well. There.
Today's 8/7.
8/7/25.
gotta frame that one.
I'm sure there's a few others.
Did you understand all of it?
Yeah, it's just the smallest lot that I've ever dealt with.
But how do you give a variance of one?
They gave it,
I question myself.
thank you very
And
much.
did you want a copy? Do you want to make copies of that, or no? You don't need the A&Rs, just the plans? Okay.
I'll be getting Nancy need 3? 4 copies. I'll get her 4 copies.
Thank you.
And then we'll go to record.
Sorry for the wait on that.
Thank you, because I gotta try to make FedEx by 8 o'clock, so.
You can make it.
Yeah, PB.
Oh.
Right, right by it on the way home. So.
Isn't there FedEx inside this? No?
I don't know, the
Staples?
distribution centers in PB, behind the picketers on Route 1.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you very
Thanks, Dave.
Yep, thank you.
Take a break?
No, we'll just go into the engineer's report.
I did.
Good to go?
Yeah, Kev, I would like to, let you take this and explain some of the paperwork that you've done to the board.
Yep. So, as you mentioned, has been a while since we met. I know it was discussed at a prior meeting to try to establish some standards for red line drawings, for one. So, one of the attachments is this package, as-built guidance for contractors. It's from the Corps of Engineers, which has some, I think, applicable language we could use. So just noted a couple key areas, like page 8 has typical things to include, correct grade elevations, topography, invert elevations, changes in design, things like that. And they have also a standard, which I clipped out here, that basically says the original design is shown in black. So it'd be, if you go to this package where it says like page 10, that any deletions would be shown in red, green would show additions to the plan, so, and blue special items. Some way to make it more apparent to the reviewer, like what happened. And as you see, like one of the 860 as-builts we got that is a red line that's in front of John, it's all red, it's a little
Very hard to read.
Yeah. So, not to go through this all today, but I brought it in, and maybe we can get a copy to Bob and Rich, to see what the board likes in it and what additional kind of requirements we should put in. And then go over it with Todd and
then vote it in,
Brendan.
and vote to accept it at maybe in a
Yeah, to
meeting
to
or,
finalize a draft, yeah.
So this would be entered, if I'm reading you correct, as a condition on closing out the job. This would be on every
Yes.
project
yeah,
going
we would
forward.
adopt it as a part of our rules and
Exactly.
regulations or procedures.
Exactly. This is a guidance that is what our requirements will be. And I mean, not all of it, of course, but there's a lot in here that pertains to what we do
Yeah,
and
and
what we don't get.
it also notes that, say there's a change anywhere, that it also is reflected on the details page or other plans in the drawing set. You know, typically we get it in the plan view, but it can be helpful to see, like, say it's underground stormwater tank. You kind of need the side view of that to know what's going on.
So it's my understanding that when conditions are put on drawings or on projects, it's the oversight of the planning board that we see something wrong, we should notify the building commissioner. And what jurisdiction does the planning board have at that time for enforcing any of this stuff?
Well, there are, it's a good point, and I guess to move on, because I did, on the next item, include that planning board decision from 860. So
Right.
I guess at this point, are there any questions on the red line, or maybe give you guys a chance to review it and next meeting?
So this is the as-built that they're presenting?
That was one of them, yes. And there was another drawing there for 860. But in terms of the standard in this kind of document, do you guys have any question on that? Or maybe we can look to set up a timeline to
I think if the
Finalize.
board reviews it, goes through and has any questions, that we could bring it up at the next meeting, we can highlight it.
Yeah, I think probably this is like a time-sensitive thing. We want to get this in place because we have a couple big projects coming up
Yep.
soon. So maybe, have you sent this, you gave this to us tonight, but has this been, do you have this in a PDF?
Yep.
Can we get this to the whole board, like tomorrow? And then we say in 2 weeks when we meet again, we give everybody 2 weeks. Is 2 weeks, does the board feel like 2 weeks is enough time to review this? I think if we, the longer we wait, the, you know what I mean, the longer you kick the can down the road. I think if we gave up 2 weeks to review this and then maybe try to vote this at the next meeting and put it in place, it's kind of, you know, time sensitive and long overdue.
Okay.
How do you feel, Mr. Chair?
I think he's done a great job here, and I think we need to review it. Get
But
a
you
better
feel 2
feeling.
weeks is enough time to review it?
Oh, yeah. I think, I mean, it's, some of it is standard language, some of it can be questionable.
But if we go through it and then we feel like we want to add to it, or if there's anything that you don't
Right.
think pertains that we want to delete, which probably most of it does pertain to it because it's, you know, standards.
I think this will educate the majority of the board on what is gonna be the requirements in closing out. I just think that some of the questions that I may have, such as one I just asked, who has jurisdiction over all this? If we don't get these plans that come back, the as-bills, to the planning board, such as just what happened, for approval, what's the sense of doing all this? The planning board, by town government, has been granted the authority to the planning board to oversee these projects.
So I think the confusion is the as-bills typically come to the board for a final occupancy permit, and we have the final say over that. So if we don't have them and the conditions aren't met, then the occupancy permit should never be issued, right?
Well,
So
if-
this
if-
board's been trying to hold that accountable, right? In the
That's
past, we
correct.
know that the prior boards and prior building inspectors didn't follow that rule.
That's correct.
So we're trying to toe that line.
Okay.
However, I think this temporary occupancy and the phased occupancy was a little gray area for this board, and there was some confusion. So I think now we've kind of clarified that, and we're gonna bring them back in before they get another temporary occupancy for the next building. So I think that was a lesson learned for this board, and some confusion. Moving forward, but we do have to realize there's a difference between what just happened with 860, with changing it from no phased occupancy to allowing phased occupancy to a temporary occupancy permit being issued without them coming back. So I think maybe next time we have to be a little clearer in our language, in our motion, to say that they have to come back in and make sure all the conditions are met before the temporary occupancy is granted, which I think we've clarified right now for building number 2.
Okay.
That's just my take on it.
This is the, what I'm trying to bring out in the open, and thank you for bringing all this up. Having spoken to Steve Booley, who was our engineer, the planning board's
Peer review.
peer review consultant, he said he would never have given this even a temporary until we had all the stormwater, everything put together. When you look at it, this looks like it's done and completed, but it's not. So, having been in the trade for 50 years and understanding this a little bit better than most,
So maybe that's also a requirement we make before the next one, that we want input from our peer review consultant.
thank you. Just to help the board, I mean, you give us a lot, both you
I
and
mean,
me.
that is, if
and-
you look at that, it is kind of hard to read.
It is.
Oh, no, that's scribbled to me.
So, for the red line, we will look to get a finalized draft, get this out to the board electronically and trim it down, finalize something for the next meeting that could be voted on.
Okay.
So the next item is 860, and so about 20 pages in, there's an email that I sent this week, just so you know, the correspondence, a few pages before that.
Before this.
Yeah, so there's, it says page 21 to 21, and then the next page
Okay,
on the, one more page on the left.
okay.
So, in anticipation of them going for the second phase of occupancy, identified these items that we're looking for. And then, as another supporting document, the next one is the original planning board approval from 2018. And this has the 22 conditions that the planning board placed. And 2 ones that I have identified, and to what you're saying, John, number 8, Mr. Chair, before the issuance of an occupancy permit, the applicants and/or their successors entitled shall submit final as-built plan to the Saugus Planning Board. So,
Now, that was a condition that was given the developer.
yes, so I would also, you
That didn't
asked
happen, though.
who enforces that or oversees it, but I would also expect the developer to be reviewing their own conditions too. If unfortunately we have to police that, it does get difficult, but I put this here so as we have instructed them or reminded them they have to come before planning board, these 22 conditions will have to be, clearly met for the occupancy. Number 7.
So if you have a building, excuse me.
Yeah.
Interrupt. If you have a building that's already occupied, such as building 1, they've started their occupancy of building 1,
Mm-hmm.
and none of these conditions or a lot of them aren't met, what is the power of the board at that time? There is none.
Hold
Once
off
the
occupancy
occupancy is
for number
given.
2. Don't grant number 2.
Right, so that's
That's what I would think. I
That's
just want
what-
to make it clear.
That's what I would think. We
Yeah.
don't grant number 2 until all the conditions are met for number 1.
This is not a public meeting for 860. This is a review, and we're using them as an example. Have you noticed the pages on these? I was part of the board. I've never voted on a condition or anything else. I just want to state that, so that everyone is clear, and I'm just asking questions because we're using this as going forward, and this is a good one to use. So, but I am not voting on anything yet. I'll vote on what we're moving forward with. I do have questions to this, only as a representation of what we're gonna run into. But I just want to make that clear to the public.
And that is one item I asked for, confirm or provide documentation that conditions 1 through 22 have been completed. Now, that other drawing that's folded up in front of you, that was the other as-built provided for phase 1. And if you look on the right, there's a paragraph there about the utilities and the text.
In the legend or in general notes?
General note maybe below, it says general utility note.
Yes.
So if you read that, it's basically saying that everything's certified except the underground utilities, because they were done by a subcontractor. But item 7 says that it should be a PE or a surveyor shall certify to the planning board the location and elevation of all underground utilities.
But we do have a certification stamped,
But
but he is using the language here to say that he is not taking any responsibility
correct.
of the underground utilities. So
Correct.
that doesn't provide us the proper closeout on this. We need someone,
Someone, yeah.
and the one I would hold responsible, again, before next issuance of permit, my members of the board will be the ones that vote on that, is that they don't get it until this stuff is caught up. Stormwater, everything else that's going to affect this project. So Steve Booley, our guidance for the
Peer
board,
review.
peer review consultant, told me that they shouldn't get an occupancy based until this information has been given. And because we're never gonna get it. So
Why are we never gonna get it?
he sees it all the time when something like this is done. Now, you remember going back, and I know this board wasn't part of it, but you gotta go back, this was a 20-month job. And we know every construction site of this magnitude runs longer than it should. But we had a gentleman stand before the board at the time and said, 20 months, we will disappear from Saugus. 5 years. There was no blasting, everything was done pneumatic handles. 4 years of blasting to my neighbors. And I say this because I'm also a precinct 1 member who's taken a lot of phone calls, and I really can't speak on it, so it's become very tough for me. So, but it is, this is
You can
what's.
speak on it, you just can't vote on it.
I can't vote on it, you are correct. So this makes it very tough for me, being a representative of precinct 1 also.
So next meeting, you should be in the audience.
Yes, maybe I don't want to be here at all. It's been a tough project. It's been a tough project, and at this point, it's not the fault of the neighbors, it's not the fault of this board, it's been the fault of what's going on up there. 3 site contractors being terminated before the project was done. It's just, and no one to follow up on it. So, I mean, it's, in respect to the board for the hard work that they've put in, and all the work that they put in, they should get a little bit of respect back when it comes time for this stuff being approved. So, we kind of get forgot about.
Mr. Chair, do you think we need to do another site visit just to check and see?
I would
put some
suggest, and I
boots on the
suggested
ground and
to
see what's
Kevin
going on
that-
up there?
We should take a ride through.
Before we call them back in, should we have a site visit?
I would say
Or
so.
we actually call them in and then schedule the site visit? We have to schedule the site visit with the contractor?
The way I
no?
understand it
No?
is that the planning board has the right at any time to view that site. We can check with legal counsel, but I think that
So does the board want to do another site
We
visit
can-
just
we
to
can
see what's
inform
going
them.
on up there? I know we've been up there a couple of times, but
So,
I'm told all this, the plantings, which were a big issue for the neighbors in precinct 1, have died. So I personally would like to see that, because if that happened, that's an issue. That was a big deal, so.
And we have requested a landscape as-built and also plan for what the fall plantings will be. Because there is a number of plantings, like on the wetland side of the fence, that need to go in. The site itself, I went up this week, looks like they have paved the final layer, and the outside of the buildings are all up. It looks a lot different than
All three.
last time I went. Yeah.
Did you happen to
Inside
notice
is
the
still
plantings in the back, that about that long would have?
working.
Because I was told they planted those trees and didn't put any irrigation in. There's no.
I have not been back there. I've looked back a couple times and actually sent the project team an email, because their landscaper had gone into one of the local yards with their hose to get water for the plants.
We
So
call that
they,
steel water.
yeah, they apologized for that, but, so we could, to me, a lot of what we're looking for in the engineering department is underground. And that's really why we want those utilities, but, I know different people look at different things, so.
So it
May
sounds like we
not be a
definitely
bad
need
idea.
to bring them back in, and we may need to do a site visit. So, Mr. Chair, would you entertain a motion to bring them back in? To
I
put them
would.
back on the next agenda?
I'll second that motion. Bill,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye. So
Nancy?
Nancy, will you reach out and let them know that we want them to come back in? 860?
Who do I call?
Sal, though?
860? You can call Rick, yeah.
Okay.
It'd be nice to have,
And I
the general
would ask
foreman.
to have one of the foremen come in.
not a guy that's a rep now, whether they allow that, I don't know, but
We used to have the guy used to, two different guys came in.
There was the
But
guy,
Doug
Andrew,
Doug Zork used to come in, and then there was another guy, Andrew Schaefer, that came in.
yeah,
But I would say, Rick's great, but we need to have somebody that's got boots on the ground to come in and explain to us what's going on.
I brought a
Because there was a
question.
couple other issues that some of the neighbors have been complaining about. I know some of the other things, I don't want to get into detail now because they're not here to defend themselves. So maybe if we could bring them back in, then we could have those conversations and have two sides of the story.
okay, I can help coordinate with Nancy on that.
Okay, thank you.
So I have a question for you as an engineer. Now, we're all engineers, but I have a question for you. And we kind of got spanked by their attorney. And then going forward, I don't know if you remember that night, we discovered that there were 7 extra units in Building 1. Some people don't think that's a big deal. How do you put 7 extra units in when your architecturals are all done? How do you add 7 extra units to a building? And is it added to the second building and the third building, which makes 21 units? So that plays with the amount that you can have, parking, density. There's so many things that play out of it. These buildings the correct size. Because
Well-
I don't see any architecturals.
That's a good point, and maybe to the as-built requirements, we put in a architectural plan, floor plan, as-built. That's not uncommon.
You know, I mean, if it's there, it's there. The town should be entitled to its taxes for it, permitting for it.
Well, the parking, like you said,
The
is a huge
parking
thing.
is gonna be a big issue up there anyway. There are no streets, as you noticed in here. This is just all parking lots within a building. There's no street. The street you come in was done on a waiver
Which
under a
is a driveway.
subdivision that was filed with the board. The subdivision was then turned into a master plan. But the zoning required, this is what makes this really a mess. The zoning under the highway sustainable, there are no variances. Either it makes it or it doesn't. And there's 7 waivers that are on this project. So it makes it a little bit difficult. Bob Long is not, he's away on vacation, or he's not here tonight. He wanted to be here, he's got a lot of questions, and I think with what you've done, Kevin, if we give it to Bob, let him review it, it may help him in what's going on, but,
And I talked to Tetra Tech this week. They have ample funds still available in the current peer review fund. And I'd like them to help with this phase 2 review. That would help the engineering department to have them looking at it as well.
if you need me to speak, or do you need to speak to Steve Boley, I can
You
make a
have
phone
Steve's
call in the morning.
contact?
Yep,
Just, I
It's
don't know.
probably easier if he talks to him directly, it saves
Right,
money.
but legally, I don't
Because every time
know
we talk to him, it chews up
if,
funds.
right, I don't know if Kevin has the authority to speak to him. We hired him under the board's previewing,
Well, if you give him the authority
but if I
right
give
now,
him the
yeah.
authority, I guess that's the same thing.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem, I think it's better, I think he should be involved.
I think you should
Any
speak
notes
to
that
him
he's,
directly.
that he's got for us? Another one I have is, we did a walkthrough maybe a year ago. And in the back of building that sits against Longwood Ave, we noticed all kinds of asphalt, all kinds of unsuitable material dumped in piles. We have no trucking plan for any of that.
In the conservation area, dumped down.
No, it wasn't so much in conservation. Phil, do you remember the piles?
I do.
They were on the back of building 2, the
I
one that.
remember some big rocks that were down there that weren't there
Well,
when
that
they
supposedly
started.
never happened, but you were a witness to
I
that.
was there before it started, and then I was there after it started.
And they said they
so-
never put any rocks at the wetland.
so
They
you
might not have put them there,
may,
but they definitely rolled down there.
Yeah,
just
They're
to
there.
tie it to the decision, condition 4 references order of conditions of the Conservation Commission. Are part of this approval and shall be completed prior to issuance of occupancy permit. So
have you
Maybe
got
we
any sign-offs from, we don't,
we'll
as the
have to
board.
review that. Not, to be honest, if I've looked at that, the order of conditions, it's been a while, so. So I think that just to, although there are specifics and they're important, I think generally, if we make sure these 22 things are met, all those specifics will come out. So those are included. The other, if you recall, the other attachments, when they were first coming to the board, we had asked for the staging plan for, you know, how are you gonna have construction while you're having occupancy. They gave us these attachments, which showed some of the requirements, but there's this plan here under attachment 3. So we're saying,
Okay, okay.
as you go through, it had a this package is what they submitted for their initial occupancy. So it's probably, yeah, a page or 2 beyond
This,
those photos.
okay.
So they had provided that. It wasn't to the level of detail that I think we had expected.
Mhm.
But basically saying, give us an updated plan to show how you're gonna handle now that you are proposing 2 buildings open. So the fact that we can route this through the peer review and through the board for this next phase, I think we have a more chances to kind of review things. And finally, for this one, from May 21 email describing the timeline of the utility pole relocation. So it was said on May 21 it'd be about 14 weeks overall. the different steps they would get National Grid. So that would be somewhere around the end of the month, the timeline for the repair. And there's the photo of the poles, be 2 or 3 pages past that.
And that's a temporary fix, what they propose
Is that
till they get
attachment
that.
4?
Yes. So there's the photo, and then on the right's the email.
So the end of August would be that 14-week timeline, you think?
Yeah, see on the right,
Mhm.
it says,
14 plus.
owner was able to get National Grid on the phone on 5/21, and then it says processing 2 weeks. And so we could follow up on that because I know that there's concern about those actually getting relocated.
Mhm.
So,
But one question to you, going forward. Utility of the service coming into this project was never on any plans.
it's a good point, and it's something, on the next one we'll talk is Chase Bank, because we do focus utilities, water, sewer, drainage, not a lot on electricity. In fact, like you said, it didn't even call out these locations of the poles.
But I think this is the only project I've seen in town where they brought overhead wires into a brand-new facility. I don't know why they never went underground. The 40B up the street went underground. All of them have gone underground. I don't understand why they put a series of poles coming down a driveway that was on a variance to begin with. No one ever picked up on it.
That's cheaper, right?
It's cheaper. It's, the wire that's pulled underground is more expensive to do,
And harder to fix.
and that has to be supplied and paid for by the developer, versus wire that's brought in overhead gets paid for by the electrical company.
So if we get them back in at the next meeting, they should have a much more updated, like, forecast of when this is gonna
one would
happen.
hope so.
So, anything else on 860?
No, we'll bring them in. I think we'll get our questions ready for when they come in.
You can do that.
So the next one I have an update on is the Chase Bank. They applied for a building permit on the original design plans. We've sent them a letter with comments. A lot of the comments that were from earlier on were never addressed by Bowler. So we're awaiting a response on that. They were looking for a building permit.
Is the building inspector aware that they haven't, met your requirements yet, or answered your questions?
Yeah, yes. So after 860, I included the planning board decision on 180, just for reference. That was from October last year. And if you go to page 7 of that decision, it says conditions prior to construction. And one thing they owed was a construction management plan. And it says that this would go with a copy to the board. So this has construction scheduling plan, trucking plan, noise and dust control, blasting. So things to me that are very important in order to give them that building permit. And then the town engineer conditions. So, just as we wanted the conditions met for 860, we're gonna be looking back at this planning board decision, and I just included it here
Thank you
A
for
copy.
putting this together. It's very helpful because as time goes on, you kind of forget, you know?
Sure.
So it's very helpful to have this all in one document. So, and I know this is very time consuming, so, and I know you're taxed in a lot of areas, so I really appreciate you putting this all together for us. It's very
You're
helpful.
welcome. I did include, as we looked, so on the back page of the engineer's report, so page 2 of this whole package, just at the very beginning, when we had, so this box here, this is a clip out from their landscape plan. And because their change was like asking for a change in the parking and landscaping,
This was 180s?
yep.
Okay.
And so I noted up here, although the planning board denied landscape revision, it was discovered during review that the drawing on C701, the table, noted waiver requested. So I highlighted on this table where they put waiver requested, and I wrote whether the planning board was aware or if they actually just put waiver requested in the plans. These are the town landscape requirements.
But it says here provided. We didn't,
Provided where feasible, they're saying. So I've asked them to confirm, like, what exactly were you asking for? It doesn't sound like the board was aware they were changing anything. I mean, it's just talking about, so it says, one, for example, at least half of the planting strip shall be a minimum of 15 feet width with a 5-foot walkway. So waiver requested, it's just my opinion, they should be clearly
But
identified.
we didn't grant a waiver. We didn't grant any waivers at the time. Even if they
So-
slipped and requested, we never voted and granted those
But
waivers, so
they're
they
saying
wouldn't be,
sorry.
they wouldn't stand. So are they, is the assumption now that they're gonna go with the original plan and they think that these waivers were granted?
Yeah,
This
Because they
page,
weren't granted.
that's right.
but this page was signed by the planning board. It's
But
probably.
it says requested, it doesn't say granted.
Right.
But it doesn't say provided on the sign set.
Well, and this is where,
And I tell you where I'm wrong, and I was wrong, is that we treated that as if it was sustainable highway. And as I said earlier, there are no waivers on sustainable highway, except that falls in B2. That doesn't fall within the sustainable highway map, at least not where they're looking to build. So they could have applied for it, but this is why I say, we
They
never
weren't granted.
we never provided this, because I told them there was no such thing. I was wrong, and I admitted to them in a meeting that I was wrong.
But they
Because
still weren't granted. The bottom line is
they
they
were
weren't
never granted. So
You can
This is-
request
this-
them, but
this
unless
is
they're
what we go
granted, then
through.
they're not
right,
approved.
and in their view, maybe getting that plan signed was a way to get it granted.
I would have to say, it was-
I don't agree with that,
Yeah.
but that could be their approach. There are a few other things that,
if they believed that, they wouldn't have fought so hard to change the landscaping plan. We all know that, right? That's,
And part of the things I referenced, if you remember, Beta, there was a discussion of whether it was an acre or not, and they've shown that it's 0.97 acres after the original design was over an acre, which would have had them do a stormwater permit. So they modified the fence layout to put it
created
under.
under.
And we looked at it, and our peer review looked at it and said, that won't work, because, you know, you can't fit a machine in that trench to do the water. So in my opinion, they have a lot, of course, they're eager to get out there and do work, but I think they have a lot of kind of plans to provide and approvals to get prior to getting going. And, you know, I don't know, to go to this condition 21, if prior to commencement of construction, and sorry, back at the middle of the packet, but just where it says, applicant shall file with the building inspector with a copy to the board, the construction management plan. I don't know that that clearly says, the board gets a chance to comment and review on that. Maybe it's something,
Which one are you on? What page?
so,
I'm
Under the
under,
conditions.
180, but
it's page 7 on the bottom.
okay, yeah.
So,
Under conditions prior to construction?
yep, number 21, it's the second.
Yep.
And then, so, with a copy to the board, then there's these pretty significant items, basically how they're gonna do the work. That, I guess at this point, it says the CMP shall be subject to review and reasonable approval by the building inspector, and shall include the following information. So, I guess here it's only saying the board gets a copy, but I guess the question is, you know, does, and maybe that's a separate, maybe that's an occupancy, I don't know if the board gets to comment on that plan, but, or if at that point,
It's just under the purview of the building commission.
yeah, and then we have the engineer's conditions, so. They got a little ways to go.
Have they provided the proper engineering for the contaminated soils, the LSP?
That's one so they have a pretty detailed letter to provide comments on, and part of that is provide that you've met all these other conditions, so that vapor, I forget what it's called, it's like an
It's a vapor
underground.
barrier that goes on before they pour the concrete to stop any of the gases that may want to come through the slab
Yeah,
to someone that works in the bank on a full-time basis. The question I had and never got answered at that time was, if you got 19% benzenes and you got 12% petroleums or distillates, and you got carbon tet because it was a cleaner years ago, you put it all together, you got a time bomb. They broke it out so that none of the contaminants went over the amount.
did we have Beta look at that?
I don't think she was on at the time. She did look at it, but I don't think it got commented on, because we got sidetracked on 10 parking spaces, which kind of threw this whole thing out left field. I mean, we probably got 32 different drawings on this one little bank. So some of it,
It's true, but they had an approved plan before that.
they had the approved plan, and that was a question I had on the first plan. They did provide a survey by their team as to what was there. The question I had at the time, if you get all these issues with the property and you put them all together, we have a time bomb. So, okay, so it doesn't meet the requirements to do this, it doesn't meet the requirements because you got not only 19%, we're 22. But they break them out all individually. So if you put all of them together, what do you have? You got a mess,
A big bomb.
huh?
You said a bunch of little time bombs. You got
A bunch of
big
little
bomb?
time bombs, not one big one.
Well,
So that's the reason for we said that they need to put a vapor barrier. And it's normally something heavier than plastic. But
well, maybe we have Beta look at it, because that sounds like it's all quantifiable, it's all numbers and
Yeah.
standards that, yeah, we should have that looked at. You know, the other thing we've looked at is the rock on site, and they have, I've asked for clarification, they've stated they can't put a detention tank because of the rock, but they could dig for the water line through the rock. They could dig for the sewer through the rock. So they,
point well taken.
And the bigger thing is, on these items, they defer to the general contractor. So at the time of the approval, it says general contractor to coordinate prior to construction. So they basically got a way to avoid discussing it at the planning board, saying, well, we'll figure it out when we get the building permit.
But if I'm correct, didn't you ask them for borings on that? I know that we had brought it up.
I recommended it.
Yeah, I thought we made it a requirement before they started opening up that
Well,
raceway.
They did, if it was a requirement, the borings they did were in the footprint of the building,
It's not the roadway,
not the roadway.
it's a shopping plaza. They get into that, they don't have to come back before us, the planning board. At that time, they just go right to the fire department, and they get a trench blasting permit, then we got issues. It's not in any of our conditions, because we didn't know what was out there. They didn't show that anywhere on any of the drawings. And I believe that you brought it up through conversations with the engineer. So I don't know if we can force them to do that at this point. I mean, we can always add, because they haven't started. And they're supposed to come back in to the
Well, it
board.
sounds like the building inspector can, right? Board can't, but maybe the building inspector could?
Yeah. And, you know, as this is an upcoming project, a lot of what we've had have been projects that have been underway. Maybe, you know, as engineering will provide updates, if in between we kind of, the board can look at, you know, during construction, you know, if I provide an update that the board feels isn't in compliance with the conditions, how we handle that. And maybe we don't know it now, but maybe,
You would report back to the board, and then the board would take it
Call
from
the
there. Call
designer
them back
in, or-
in, and, yeah.
okay,
So I think what we should do is, until we see him back here with a definitive, we should call him back in, call them back in before they start. I know they wanted to go back, but they've changed so many layouts and so many things. I just want to make sure that they got the original plan that we gave them to go forward, which didn't show the water line running down the middle.
Nancy, do you have a copy of the original plan that was approved?
Yeah.
Do you have that copy, Kevin?
yeah.
Okay.
If you want to take a look at that,
It's a little, the one element that's kind of, I will look at it, it's different is it's all private property. Versus if that was a public way.
It's a little less, yeah.
Yeah, but I
but there's
think,
got to be some kind of an agreement to have them with a roadway that comes up from the mall down below, through the Stop and Shop, to traverse in either direction. They only have one entrance.
and that's where the, it would be good to see there, it's one of these, the trucking plan or the construction staging plan. So,
That was supposed to have been done
You know,
before the board prior
because-
to.
although it's private, it is a very public area. And to me, some of the things that I'm looking at is very like schedule related, where we also don't want them to say they'll be done in 12 months and then they have these issues that people are asking the board, why is this job taking 2.5 years, you know? So the developers see it as like giving them a hard time, but really it's us trying to, you know, from the engineering department, avoid these problems later. We find them now.
It's been said to them on the very first meeting, been said to them at the department head meetings. Put it on paper. Give us all you can give us, and we'll make a decision off of that. Instead of coming back every 2 weeks, well, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, we gotta do this, which bothers what's been done over here. So it just, and then it just becomes one big cluster. And then they don't wanna do anything that they're supposed to do, none of the conditions. And it's just, I say, get it all up front before they start. If it's borings that they need to do, test borings, how long does it take to do borings on a roadway like that? You go in there on a
Day.
Saturday morning
Yeah.
before the traffic, or a Wednesday morning, whatever. They're done in a day. They know what we're gonna hit. We're gonna blast, we know what we're gonna blast. It's the thought of the unknown being just what you said it is. It's a shopping plaza. There's a lot of safety and life and limb there. And I don't need it to come back on this board that we didn't do a proper job. I mean, it's just, so whatever we can get ahead of time, and I don't know what the rest of the board feels like, is better for everyone. It's even better for them, to be truthfully honest.
And maybe I could get what they send in over to Beta. I don't know where they're.
We haven't received anything back from Beta. There's been no review from Beta other than attending the meetings.
Well, we had them look at the parking at one point,
Right, that was brought up at the meeting. They came
so,
to the meeting. But at the site work, they said, or I said that they were gonna be responsible for the concrete pipe. That's at stage 4.5 and 5, it's no good. They agreed to do a section of it. Beta said, no, they're gonna do the whole thing. But that never got put into writing. That never became a demand.
well, I mean, what do you think in terms of having Beta oversee it or reporting back to the board?
Well, they're
or-
supposed to. Once they start, they're supposed to go out once every other week and update the board as to what's, same as what's
Send
going on
reports.
at 860. They're supposed to file a report to the board. They're supposed to be our eyes and ears.
So we have a meeting in 2 weeks, right?
Yes.
Planning board. I guess at that point, I could update what we've been provided, and then decide if we want Beta, what we want them to look at, or what I would like them to look at if I don't. think-
Because you've been going through meeting and meeting with them, yourself and Todd,
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
and the board is kinda, doesn't know what's happening.
Right,
So,
and
good
just so you do know, I included the letter I've sent to them,
okay.
which towards the end is this memo. We don't have to go through it now, but it's got, 20, 30 items that, it's the engineering DPW review comments, including some new ones at the end, so just in case, again, just so the board's aware of what engineering DPW is asking. And it looks like I may have put the planning board decision in twice. But,
Twice they're not having it.
yeah. And so that's what I have on Chase Bank. So I'll update next meeting that we've got a response to this memo. And if I guess in between, you guys want to look at it and add anything in, just pass that on to me or Todd.
You see that? You see the memo?
Now, who's highlighting it? Are you, our engineering department highlighting this?
Good question. So the memo, I included the original, anything that's not highlighted was from a letter pre-construction. The highlighted items I felt weren't addressed during the pre-approval phase. So I added the additional text in blue to say, I don't think you addressed these before. And then at the very end, there's some new comments in blue.
Number 42.
Yeah,
Now, have they-
42 to 46.
Have they agreed to this?
They're working on a response.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
So could you please notify Mike not to issue a permit until all your requests are made?
yeah,
We'll address
we've
that at
discussed
our
it.
Tuesday
Okay.
meeting.
yeah, and I will. So just a couple other project updates. We had the people at Homeland Ave reach out to us. They are saying they want to continue based on the Permit Extension Act.
I thought they were denied, though. I thought we denied them at our last.
An
Well-
Last time
extension?
they were in here, no, not an extension, but I thought they
They
were
never
saying
show
that they
back
wanna
at-
go on the extension, the COVID extension type thing, based on that they had an approval. I thought the last time they were before us, they were denied.
They never got approval to redo the sewer. They got the original site approval done, which was a gravity sewer
Mm-hmm,
around the back of the property.
yeah,
They said there was bedrock that
it was too expensive to.
too expensive. The
But
force main
We
design.
walked that site, it's some of the best bank gravel I've ever seen.
Well,
And they've cut a lot further back than where they were supposed to be. Matter of fact, Larry Durkin, one of the past engineers, walked it with myself and Jeannie. And
We were picking
I,
blueberries.
he was sinking up to his knees in mud, and I says, Larry, you better come out of there, I'm not going in to get you. So, and they've done a lot of site work, but none of it's correct.
Yeah, and so, to me, we need to see if this extension is valid, which we're gonna confirm with council. Whether that's John, or we need to get Jesse Schumer's opinion. I guess we'll start with John.
So are they saying they're gonna go back to the original approval and go with the gravity fed?
No, they want to revisit the force main. It was never,
For the third time?
yeah, he's saying.
Because it, wasn't that,
It's
it was,
not,
didn't it come, and it was denied, and then it came back and it was denied again?
then he brought a salesman
Yeah?
from the company to explain to us how this was accepted years ago in Saugus.
Right.
But since that, the engineering department doesn't accept the type of force main that they wanted to supply.
So are they trying to go at that same,
They're in the very early stages. This is only to kind of let you know. So I don't know their plan.
okay,
We've even been, someone reached out to us that was looking to buy the property and asked what we knew about it. So,
so they're not at the point where they wanna come back before the board, or,
no, they're
They're
trying to
just inquiring.
determine if they would have to start from scratch with the board, or if, based on this Permit Extension Act, which was that moratorium, COVID thing, that
2020, but that didn't last. It's now 2025.
it worked with trunk space, right?
that was
Somehow.
because
No,
it was in
that's a land
litigation,
court.
so it was a little bit different.
That was a
Okay,
land court
good point.
where that
It was
worked.
in litigation.
So this is beyond me at this point, but I'm just letting you guys
Yeah.
know we're looking into it. Because if we can determine that doesn't apply, they'd have to come back, file a whole new plan, maybe it's the old plans, but the board would get another review. And then the last one, it's not on the agenda, but the last couple pages was for trunk space. During an initial meeting we had, they mentioned a couple changes, and I had asked for a summary of changes to the plans. So it says April 14 zoning board set, so I think they meant planning board. So since then, and I have not reviewed these on the plans, but it looks like based on DOT comments and a couple other changes, they've made basically changes to the plans that,
Were approved.
well, they weren't approved by the board, so,
Have you been given the land court decision?
maybe, I don't know.
Okay, I haven't seen it, I don't think anyone on the board has seen it. But it goes back to what we were requiring all along. That's what put them at the land court. And they said we were told there's no problems with it. And
That's
yet,
an easement, right? They were looking for
that
an
was the easement. We just
between
wanted a letter from the abutter that both were eligible to use that piece of parcel. And Because someone owns a little bit of it, the other guy owns the rest of it. So all we were requiring was an easement that we wouldn't run into this problem, but it wound up in land court. I don't know what the outcome was in land court. We're being told, I believe, that it's through land court and they won, but I've never seen a decision on it.
Well, I just started looking at this today. I included it so you guys could have a look at it. And my thought was maybe some of these should have been either voted on as major or minor and come back here. They'll be coming to engineering, DPW to get a cut and cap, a trench permit for the cut and cap, working towards a demo permit. So maybe at the next meeting, we can have more of an update and the
Nancy,
board could look
They
at these
haven't gotten
changes.
any permits, I checked on that today.
They didn't get any
They
permits?
don't have any permits for anything.
okay. So on a case like this, Nancy, with your expertise, and it's been out there so long, does the board make a vote to bring them back in before anything goes further? Because we have some issues that were left behind, and I don't want to leave them behind because they were of significance. We were watching a wall collapse the day that we were out there on that retaining pit that they've got. They made it out of stone.
That was the question before, that whether or not they,
Well, someone said they were looking to come back to the board.
They don't need to necessarily reapply, they don't need to reapply,
right,
but what John's asking for them to come back to the board to clarify some of the issues that were outstanding. Like for one, to show us the easement was granted, to show us the court
yeah,
order.
outstanding issue.
Yeah, there was some outstanding issues, so,
Yep.
I mean, we could call them back, the board could call them back. Do you want me to make a motion to do that?
We probably should.
Okay.
Can we though?
Mr. Chair, make a motion to call Trunk Space back in before the board so we can clarify any
Is this trunk space or Homeland we're talking about?
trunk space.
Okay.
Yeah, Homeland, I don't think they're there yet. Trunk space.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. To have trunk space come back.
Anything else?
I don't think, is that all you have for now, Ken?
Yeah, I'll bring the 1753 conditions to the next meeting. That might have been what I meant to put at the back here, but I put doubles of the Chase Bank. So.
Phil's being sarcastic, you just put this
Yeah, no, this
big
is
huge
amazing.
back in. This was great, seriously,
Thank you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
It makes it a lot
Yes.
easier to have it all in one place.
Thank you very much for this.
Thank you. At this time, if the board doesn't have anything else, can I make my favorite motion? Did you have anything else, Kevin?
Nope.
No.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Good seeing everybody.
See everybody.